Hello everybody, and welcome to another tutorial in camera and lens repair. And this time I actually got a AF-s Nikkor 35mm 1.8 G and DX, and it has some loose aperture blades. So how about that? Well, this is the subject. Well, oh gosh, there's something wrong in here. Well, that's the way it should be in this video, where I will show you how things possibly can be repaired if the not shutter, but the aperture plates are maybe just like this one. Well, at full open it's not a problem, but if we step down, well, one or two blades are actually not in correct position. So we need to go into it and see what's actually wrong. But we need some tools. I will use some tools, two tweezers, some dentist tool can be very handy. Those are really old. This one is really old. But the point is, it has a spade in one end, which is very thin, just like the other one, which has more, a bit thicker. But this one, the thinner one, could be the the good one. On the other end, it have a different angle, compared to the other end. And we'll also probably use my special tweezer here, only made for working with aperture plates, because I can dig under it and lift it up, because the very thin legs here. We need some screwdrivers, and those are JIS, as I work with the Japanese lens, so they should be Japanese, JIS, and I will use a 2mm and a 2.5, and those are from Moody Tools, which I buy them at ifixit.com. Sometimes I use a very short modified Vera PH00, which I have filed just a very pointed tip away, and it works really good in many cases. So, well, I know it's not a JIS and it will never be, but it works really good. I have also bought one of those rubberized tweezer from a stamp collector shop, because they will not do any harm on stamps. But it also works with flex cables in the lens. We will not take any flex out here, but it can also work if you lift up something as a lens or lens element or something like that. I will probably also use a lens sucker. This is from Japan Hobby Tool. And just to get things clear, I'm not sponsored by any company. All what I do on my channel here is my own stuff, my own tool. I buy it's my own. So lens blower can also be handy. So let's get to work. I will go in from the back. Do not get in from the front. You will not get into the aperture system from the front. So it's only here. So there are 4 screws around. There, for the mount. And of course there are 2 here on the contact bridge. One there and there, the tiny one. And there are 3 screws around the plastic kind of light shield or something. One there there. And just to mention, the small one here is not a screw that is holding anything. It's a lock screw for the mount when you lock the lens into place, into the camera. And then the last one. So forget all about this tiny screw. Well, let's jump into it. I will simply start with the 2mm JIS and unscrew the contact bridge on each side, and it's good with a magnetized screwdriver here, just so you will hopefully get the screws out. And then the plastic ring around here, the black one, which I will also unscrew. The screws are a little bigger. I know it can be difficult to see because of the shiny metal, but hope you will get it. And then the last one here. So that was part of it. So we can just lift out the plastic thingy here on the back. Take care of the flex, the contact bridge here. It's a bit fragile, so then we can just use a tool here to lift up the plastic thingy here, just gently. Keep a finger here so you will not break it. So this is just plastic. Now we have 4 screws around that hold the mount, and I will use a 2.5mm. And we do not need to use any nail polish remover for this, because it's just screwed into plastic, so no problem. So all 4 screws has to come out, and we just hold on a second, because we also need to unscrew this. So there's only hold by 1 screw. So that's it, and then we can continue. Now, when I loosen the mount, take it out, the whole barrel here will come loose, but not yet. Just to, but take care of when you take it out, and also take care of the small switch here, which have 2 wires. Take care when working with those. So have a good hand here, and the last screw here on the mount. Now put it on your desk and then hold on to the out here, the barrel, and gently, very gently lift out the mount. It can be a little tricky, so because of the flex cable here. So it's really good if you set it to something in near end. It will say you turn the focusing ring, so the lens, the back lens screw will just go further into the lens, because then it will be a little easier to actually lift out the mount. A tweezer can be very handy for that, and just take care of it. One can push the arm here for the aperture connection, and so it is. Just to get things clear, there are 2 spacers here. I think there was 2, yeah. So it's a kind of the way they do the kind of the adjustment when they assemble the lens. So there is the mount. and there is, if you can see, there is one spacer in here that sticks to the rubber sealing, and there is actually another one, so we can just take out. There's a little gap here, and this tiny spring here has to go through it, so it has to sit like this. So to make it easier, I have simply, because I have been into the lens and investigate, there's a little guide pin here. Probably can see this one here. I simply set a mark here, so I can figure it out. Okay, it should sit there, just to not get confused. Now, then we are actually into the back of the lens. So we need to take off the barrel here, which also has to sit correct. It can only sit in one position. So the white dot here has to sit, right next to the to the flex cable, just to be sure it's put in correct. So we can wiggle a little with the mount here and take care of the flex, because it can come loose very quickly when you pull it gently. Now lift it out, something like that. Have a good hand on it, and then we can take out the switch here gently, and that way here, and simply get it off. So now we're in here. Now we actually see the back of the lens in here, and we can see how the focusing system is working. The gear here, the motor, and the encoder brush, and the circuit board, which is here, the controlling board for the lens. And one thing, do not touch with anything. Let's see what we can do. Yeah, you see the encoder magnetic head is right here, and there is a magnetic strip here all the way over to very end here. Do not touch it, and if you touch it, you can clean it with isopropyl alcohol on a cotton bud, and it will work really, really good. But do not unmount the the head here, and do not use a magnetic screwdriver close to the magnetic strip here, because you could damage the data which is right on it, in it. Just like an old tape recorder, when you use a magnet on it, you could lose the sound from the very old days. Well, now let's continue. We need to actually, there are 3 screws around here. Maybe it's better to use this one. There is a screw there, a screw there, and there. Those holding actually the back ring here, that again hold the way the focusing rails here, one there and there, and hold it into place, holding the focusing system into place. So there's no need for unscrew those 2, this one and this one, no. But we need to unscrew this, the earth connection. And there is no need to actually take out any flex cables. So we have a good grip on the focusing ring itself. And when we work with it, when I take out the back lens here, it should stay on infinity. It will say the lens is shortest possible as it should. And this brush should be all the way up to here, towards the white gear here. Now, that's part of it, and we can just unscrew it. I will use a 2.5mm for that. And there's here. So this is the way we come into the back of the aperture system. So, and of course we also need to take this out. I should have done it before, but well. And so it is. Away with that. And off with this little fellow here. Just put it aside. And then I will take out this ring with the 2 guide pins. The key, 2 focusing key, and take care of the flex cable here. So one have to actually lift up the back here and push on the contact bridge, and then it's free. And if you have turned it wrong or tried to mount it on, remember there's a kind of a notch here, which is the only one, and it will go to the flex cable, which is here. Now, then we just move it aside a little, and then I will use my tweezer here just to try to actually lift out the whole assembly here. And it's plastic, so it's easy. Now, before, just forget, there is a guide pin here. This one, this tiny one, just above the sensor here. Make a small mark here, because then you know where this should be sitting. And there's also 2 notches, one on each side. This gap here, and if we can show it here, there's also a gap over here. And it should sit like that, because the aperture pin from the camera will actually move in this area here. So just take it out here, and you can use 2 fingers to actually hold it into place, because this is the focusing when it moves. So we do not need to do anything about it, just put it somewhere on a good place. So now it sits there. So here we can actually see the back of the aperture system, and we can just move the focusing ring so we can fully expose the 3 screws that hold the the aperture system. And you can probably see there are some of the holes in here which are not sit correct. Maybe it's going to be a little difficult to see. And if I try to move it, you can see one of the pins here are actually out of alignment. So we need to take out the plate here, and in that way I also need to actually detach the spring here, so it will not do anything wrong. And for that I found out that the where did that tool go? The dentist tool, like this one here, is actually a good thing to press down on the spring and then, okay, do it in the other end, press it down a little and then push it so it will probably come out easy. Okay, we need to take out the spring here. Keep it in a safe place, and then we can actually work here with this one, because then the aperture plates are full movable, so I can just move it out to full open, and then, I mean, almost full open, I think. So there, because then I can possibly work with the plates over here, which I think is the problem. I don't know yet, because I haven't been that deep inside the lens. So I will unscrew the 3 screws here, and I don't think it is necessary to do anything, any mark. I think it can only sit in one way, but let's see what's happened. Okay, the screws are not countersunk, so let's see if I can set a mark somewhere. There isn't any, but I will just set one. Anyway, maybe somewhere here could be good thing. Yeah, just need a mark somewhere. Okay, we have an A here. You possibly can see there's an A here, and it goes straight to the corner of this one here. So it should sit in that position. There isn't any other sign that tells. Oh, maybe over here that's a kind of a notch, so the back plate here can only sit in one position. So I would think it should be that. Let's see how it will go. Interesting stuff. So hopefully it's not necessary to take out the plates. But maybe it is. Now, let's see what's happened if I lift up this one here. It's actually possible. Oh, do I get the whole aperture assembly out in one part? I have no idea. Okay, yeah, so easy. Okay, well, what could be wrong here? see, really something wrong, but there's not really much to see what could be wrong here. If I close the okay, there's something loose. Okay, there. It looks like, yeah, looks like it has to be things has fall out of place here. See, there is a gap here, and this pin, I mean this little piece here is actually out of this gap in here. So there is the actually the error. So the lockering here has come out of place, so it will not lock the ring here into place. So it should be quite easy actually. So we have to set the aperture full open. Then push the plate into place and have a grip here and push the lock ring here. So, and now it sits correct. Haha. So now it works. So the I mean the lock ring here is very soft in the tension. So if a lens like this one has been dropped, it could actually be the reason why it fall out of place. But as you can see, now it's actually working as it should. And in that way I will just put this tiny spring on again, because I think it would be easier if it would work. Come on, little fellow. So there. Oh gosh. Sometimes those springs can be really annoying to try to put in, but we will make it. And now I just need to get the other spring into place. I don't know actually what they do on the factories when they produce those lenses. Okay, just need another tweezer, which hopefully can be. So here we are. And here the aperture is working again. So that's really good. So it was a quite easy task, kind of. And then I can actually just put the aperture assembly back into the lens. Just blow away maybe some dirt. And it can only sit in one position. So where's my tweezer here? Where did the guide pin? The guide pin is here. This one, and it should sit over here. So, and then we just need to assemble the whole thing. There's no adjustment here, so it can only sit in one position because of the guide pin. then tighten it gently. There's no need for over tighten those plastic parts. And now we can just turn the focusing ring back to the position where it was. It will say here. So all the 3 holes are actually almost covered by those pins here that goes into the focusing assembly part. Where did my 3 go? And then I can simply put the focusing assembly on, and I hope it will work. And since I already have set a kind of a mark here, oh come on, I already set a mark here with the in respect for the guide pin here, it can only sit in one position. So that's actually good. So next thing is to put in this ring here with the 2 key, and again take care of the flex. And it has to go into the 2 gap here, one there and one on the other side. But one can just help the contact bridge here to not get damaged. And one have to maybe wiggle a little with things. Okay, hold on a second. Sometimes it can be a little tricky to put in those smaller parts, but we will make it. Where did that go? Here. I just need a torch here to see what's actually going on. So there, and then we are almost there, and I just need to put in the 3 screws that hold the ring. And second one, and the last one here. And the little pin for the earth, the ground. It can only sit here because there are 2 small pins. So there it is. And then we are actually back on track. And everything works as it should. So I can put the housing on here and just let the contact, manual contact, come in too. And we will find the white dot here, which has to go in line with the other white dot. And simply try to catch the holes here where it should sit, and then put this on here, there, and where did it go here? The little screw here on the side. So that's it. And now the first spacer here should sit like this. As I set a mark with the guide pin here, it can only sit there. And then the mount, and if you look here, you can see the what we should go here. The aperture here, which I move it. The pin here should push on this side here. So if we push it, this pin down here should sit on this side. So when putting it back in, I know it's difficult to see on the camera, but no, it's difficult to see. Sorry for that. But when you push on it, it should, if it sits correct, and it did not, difficult to see here. So there, and here we are. And now the 4 screws that hold the mount. And one on the opposite side. Some gently tighten the screws, no need for overdo, because it's plastic you actually screw in. So now the plastic ring here on the back, but before doing so I will just take the 2 screws on the contact bridge so I know where it is. There. Oh gosh. And then so and then the plastic ring here. So if we move it so like this and put the ring in to place, and the 3 screws that hold that ring. And there. So it is. And just for checking if stuff is actually working, I'll just put it on my Nikon D3S and see if it actually sit there. Yeah. And if we set it to something like, well, f22, you can see the aperture is actually working again. So how about that? So that was actually very good. Everything works proper again. So this is how you actually can fix your lens if it has this problem. So hope you enjoy the content and think, okay, it's not that hard to, I mean, not that hard, I know, but hopefully, yeah, that's all for me. Bye bye.